we have to understand the whole 3 years that just passed. In 2019, there was this whole the incident. So, a lot of people in January 29th, 2019, the incident took place, and the next day, on the 30th of January, all celebrities around the world go crazy. Everybody goes with the outpour of emotion, and everybody, Chanel Monáe, Viola Davis, T.I., his co-stars, producers, Lee Daniels, etc. Everybody's posting videos. Lee Daniels say, "Oh, you my son," and justifiably so, because we live in an era where it has been decided that it is a crime to have any doubt whenever it's women and minorities and LGBT, to say the least. And everybody, when it's war, whenever it's something, and you're supposed to have emotions of injustice, anger, comprehension, whatever it is, we in an era where if you use the word doubt, all hell break loose. You don't have the right nowadays to doubt who says that? Oprah. I always believe the victim. So this is the era. You arrive, if your story is good enough and it can make somebody cry or somebody angry or somebody feel the injustice, you give them what they need every day, which is the dose of dopamine. They need, the dopamine is a drug that is produced by the body, and it goes from your glands somewhere directly to your brains, and it makes you feel this euphoria of rage, of, oh my God, And people, because they've been used on social media, on all these places, and on the internet, and you have to never forget that the media is competing with social media. So all of us who are creating content on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, we are actually in competition with the normal media, who they also need to sell their ads, and they need people to sell the ad to a certain price. So back in the days, they were alone. They had a monopolistic grab on information. So you had newspapers, magazines, and then news media, and that's where the news would broke. That's where we would all go and seek our information at 8 p.m. during dinner time. And then you had the CNNs of the world, where the news were 24/7. So there was news all the time. So then the news became a little more sensationalized, because if there's only 5 things happening today and you have to be talking about the news 24/7 to sell ads, so you have to sensationalize everything. The news, this, oh my God, somebody got, a cat is in the tree, the safety, this is CNN. Thousands of neighbors are here waiting to see how we're gonna save the cat. This cat, poor cat, and then the neighbor. Did you see the cat? Yeah, the cat is in the tree. Oh my God, I'm so scared that he's gonna fall. Yeah, so we're talking to the lieutenant John Morris of the firefighters of whatever place of the country. So what are you gonna do? Yes, our team is here ready to serve the people, and listen, we'll make sure that this kitty returns to her mother swiftly. Thank you so much. Dun, 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 dun. So 5 minutes later, the cat has been saved. And then hell yeah, he was a cat who used blah blah blah. Listen, they're gonna make news of everything and anything. So that was like 30 years ago. But then internet arrived, and now they had competition from anybody. And now there's Twitter, there's Instagram, and now everybody's making the news. Everybody can just the day you tweet something and it resonates on people, you get your first hit of the dopamine drug. A friend of mine posted once that somebody asked her if she spoke African in France, and she just posted, "No, I don't speak African, just like you don't speak European. Africa is 56 countries. We have, in every country there's 1,000 to 8,000 languages, etc., etc., etc. And the same way you speak French to Russian, to Ukrainian, to German, to Polonese, I don't know, Polish, etc., etc. We also speak Lingala, to Swahili, to etc., etc., etc. Same thing here. And so, simple tweet, but then she got thousands of retweets, and everybody that had the fiber of Afro-feminism and they just put her up there. And now she was like, everybody was like, thank you for finally speaking, telling that. And and then she had her first hit of dopamine. And starting now, you gotta feel like, you might feel important, you might feel like you have a mission, you might feel like whatever. But she slowly went from being more about fashion to being also still about fashion, but a lot more into the activism. Maybe because she just felt the call, but also maybe of the dopamine. And a lot of people, that's how it starts. You post something on Twitter, all the reactions you get, or on Instagram, you post something and you get 1,000 likes, 100 comments, and you feel the dopamine, you feel like this excitation. And the next time you post something, if it doesn't get the same reactions from people, you kind of feel disappointed. So you might post something outrageous or something, or show a little more of your body, or depending on what you do, like everybody has their thing, to just try to receive this validation and this dopamine hit from all the strangers that you don't know. And a lot of people become Twitter activists or YouTube comment activists because they need it. They need the they need that whole dopamine hits. And some people become addicts of the need to be outraged every day or every week. So somebody says something, they get outraged. Some people, they get outraged by something, and they get some outraged by something every day. Every day they go on Twitter, on YouTube, and they need to fight with somebody about anything. Like I keep saying, sometimes I go on a video about the new Apple computer or the new iPhone or the Apple Watch, something that has to do with the Apple universe, because I'm a client of them. And somebody comes out of nowhere and explain to me that I'm a stupid sheep for buying an Apple product that is expensive, and I could buy a Galaxy phone that is much better with Android, or a Xiaomi phone or whatever they think I should be buying. And I'm like, why do you care so much about what I buy? And what are you doing on an Apple channel talking about Apple product? Like, who sent you? Like, do you work for Samsung, or do they pay you? Are you gonna win a phone? Like, what's going on? Same thing. It's just people, they wake up in the morning, they have nothing else to do, and they go comment. They go, you see them in the comment sections. They go there. And to me, they're stressful people. And because they stress me, I don't reply to them. I don't care. Or I just block them if it's on my channel, because I don't understand that energy. I'm not interested in that energy. But a lot of people are just going crazy, and the fake activism, because we used to have leaders, we used to have people, leaders of opinion, people who really they made it their life to be active on something. But today it's so easy to pretend you're an activist as long as you're here on Twitter. And the problem is the brands will follow you because they believe that you can really boycott or you're going to do something, when in reality, most people, once they're done tweeting, but then you have, so as the year passed, all these people who became Twitter activists, they also wanted to be activists everywhere. So Twitter problems became TV problems, became church problems, became problems in the university. Everybody wants their cause to be followed, and everybody has their agenda, and you kind of feel like you cannot talk about anything anymore, because there's always somebody that's going to complain about the things you're saying, because everybody is becoming more and more sensitive, and because everybody is addicted to the dopamine of that social media brings to them. So everybody wakes up and they need to be outraged about something, and they need to either be a victim or either be the bully. And most of the times the bullies become victims of the people on social media, because people abuse on the punishment, and the victims become bullies themselves, because when they go on social media, they come in groups and they can make your life a hell. And all these brought us here to this situation where somebody goes under minus I don't know how much in Chicago, goes get a sandwich, get attacked by two white men having MAGA hats, red MAGA hats, and like it's like kryptonite to black people. They go crazy with it. They see a red, you see, make things great again. They just, yeah. Now even phrases make people crazy. Like you say, go ahead, go somewhere and say, well, I think all life matters. They're like, people don't care. They're like, this is racist. Like, and all this is inside of a bubble of people who, they don't fight wars, they don't die in wars, they live long, and they're bored. So everybody's living in their own little metaverses of ideas, and everybody's just not conflicting, but colliding with each other. And when you look at that, you're like, wait a minute. So, and people will use the credulity of people. There's a lot of people who are acting like politicians. A lot of people will use the abuse of empath, the abuse of empathy of the people to arrive to wherever they want to go. And so we've seen what's her name? Prince Harry's wife. I forget her name. Meghan Markle. Sorry. We've seen Meghan Markle use the empathy of the black people to just go and pretend that she was the victim of racism. And like she's a prisoner of the Queen of England, etc. And she was like, and everybody fell for it. Everybody went crazy, like, oh my God, what? What? Somebody asked you if they wonder what's gonna be the color of the baby? I mean, if you are half white and your mother is, she's black, your father is white, and your husband is as white can be with red hair, there's nothing special in asking, I wonder if this baby will have a little bit of, is it gonna come out white? Is it gonna come out with a little bit of is it gonna be very light, or is he gonna just come caramelish? Because this is genetics. Sometimes it can come out more something. Sometimes it can come out one way. Sometimes it can come out so many ways. And I mean, listen, like I said before, my wife is half. Can I say this now? Because in this, listen, a new trigger word. Listen, they add trigger words to the list all the time. My wife is half Belarusian. My wife was born in Minsk. So, yeah, she's one of them. She speaks Russian. So, my wife is half 50% Belarus, 50% Guinea-Bissau, right? I am 75% Congo, 25% Portuguese. My mom is half white. So when my daughter and my son 19 years ago were about to be born, the conversation sometimes was like, I wonder if it's gonna come. Listen, my mother-in-law is blonde with blue eyes. So is she gonna have like curly hair, like a virgin or a Brazilian? Is she gonna have the hair like me, like her mom? Is she gonna be like more my color, more her brother? Is he gonna have green or blue eyes? Is she gonna be more white, more light skin, more caramel, more black? My sister has 2 kids. Her daughter is just like my daughter is almost a copy of my sister's daughter. And her son looks like a Pakistanis. He's really my skin color, but his hair is like a white guy. Dark. It looks like a Pakistanis, but the sister looks different. So all this is normal. There's nothing crazy about that. But these women just came out of nowhere and said, they said we're not gonna have no title, and somebody said like, Somebody asked like what color it was gonna be, and Oprah said, "What?" And everybody went crazy. And everybody on Twitter and socials and the media, because people need to have something to say. There you go. And then he went crazy for a few months, and now nobody's talking about it because everybody's like, well. And so where I'm coming with this is, let me see the comments first, because we have too many activists. It is dangerous for society because most of them don't have a real cause or fundamentals. Yeah, they're just here for the rage. MAGA is kryptonite to us. It does trigger an emotional side because it stems from modern racism. It's something I understand, but in the end, it's just a phrase. That's what I mean. And maybe because I'm not American, I don't feel it the same way. But the thing with Americans is that because they feel something one way, they believe the whole world feels like them or have to feel like them. The same way as World War. When they say there's a world war, it's actually Europeans, the Occidental, fighting between themselves. But they say like us. Listen, some people, maybe they had nothing to do with them and they're not interested. You don't have a choice. Say, no, it's a world war. So, but you see how they react when it's on their continent. Look at them. They don't have problems saying, yeah, it's crazy. It's us. Like, oh my God, it's in Europe. It's blonde, blue eyes, looking like us. And you're like, yo. No, listen. We at peace. We are civilized countries, not like these savages that are in war all the time. And now the whole world has to be worried about their war, when in reality, like World War I and II, the Crusade and etc., it was the same people, Europeans, the Catholic, all these people. It's them all the time. And all the weapons, if I remember, they built by those people as well. Listen, I'm not gonna go back to episode. It was two episodes ago. So I had my rant already about that. So I'm not gonna diverge. What I mean is that we arrived to this point where, as how you say your name, C T Creole. As SE says, the emotional trigger is the issue here. If you have a bunch of people, and even people that work in news, in the editorials, if you have all these people emotional, the people in the streets emotional, the people who present emotional, the people who take the decisions, the people we elect emotional as well, everybody goes crazy. Nobody takes the time to think. Everybody's just triggered. And that's when it becomes dangerous, because some guy who, listen, believe him or not, becomes a victim of a crime, right? He's a victim of a hate crime. You see? And the whole world goes crazy. The whole world, everybody, every actor, the world stops to cry for you. And everybody's like, oh my God, no, why would they do this, etc., etc. But then the next day, 2 days after, he refuses to give his phone. And there's starting to be cracks already in the narrative. So then at a point, the police is looking at the camera and they see the attackers. But at a point, the guy goes, I'm the gay Tupac. Why? Because he's having his dopamine hit. He's having millions and millions of people saying his name, telling him he's amazing, telling him, oh my God, we are with you, oh poor guy, and everybody's like, yes, and don't forget that we are in the middle of these times, troubled times. So, and we have a lot of activists, a lot of people who are fighting rightfully for the rights of trans, the rights of gays, the rights of this, the rights of the black people, the rights of the stop the Asian hate, all these at the same time. You have who's posting comments on my YouTube instead of coming to my live. Look, my channel lives by itself. So you have all these things that are happening. So this is a cautionary tale on the fact that we can all be fooled, because at a point when he starts saying I'm the gay Tupac and showing that he was not scared, etc., and everybody's like, yeah, we love you, Jussie. Yo, that's when people are starting to be suspicious. People are starting to be like, okay, listen, we'll see. Then the phone records are submitted. Then they arrest the people. Then he does his interview with ABC News with the crew. He does his interview with ABC News with Gayle King. The same, like the people who will do the interviews. And then Chicago police around February is like, yo, we're about to charge this guy. We don't believe this guy. And then at a point they believe the Osundeiros, that actually the attackers are these guys. So he gets arrested. Chief of the police is disgusted and he is suspended from Empire. All the people who were yelling and who were supporting him, we don't hear about them anymore. At a point, the two Nigerian guys wearing the MAGA hats are like, we regret. He pleads not guilty, and he gets cleared of all charges. And this is really like at a point people are like, what? And then you see, time goes by. And then he's sued by the city of Chicago. This is the MAGA country, people. There he is. He looks more like Julie's ex than he look more like one of Julie's candies than, Then he gets fired from Empire. Then they showed him. Police arrive. He has this noose around his neck, and everybody's like, yo, nigga, what's going on? Then you have the video of the guy inside of the taxi. Oh my God. Going to do the thing. Look how they dressed. Oh my God. And then charges, December guilty, and then 6 months in jail, $145,000, and then he becomes the new MLK. And he starts saying that he's not suicidal, and listen, I was watching him and I was like, listen, as I've been telling you for 188 episodes, I always leave some space in my heart and in my mind for the possibility that I'm wrong. And that my opinion, that is just, oh my God, this girl, that my opinion I might be wrong, right? So my opinion is this. I don't believe a single word these guys says. Listen, I don't believe this guy. I believe he's a fraud. It's a fraud. I don't understand his family. I understand, like, you support, but I would support silently, because if I was one of his brothers and sisters, I would have doubt, unless they all drank the whole Kool-Aid, unless they don't know everything, or maybe they know something we don't. But for me, this whole thing, listen, I'm waiting for the Netflix movie, but this whole thing is a crazy hoax and he should be ashamed for all the victims. The real, listen, every time there's a fake story like that, or somebody who pretend that she's been aggressed by a celebrity or something crazy as what he did, when he didn't need that. He didn't need the money. He did, like, it just shows you where we arrived as it's not one society, but where the Western society is arriving, and America always leads in those things, where, because nobody will ask themselves, is it possible that is not true? Just as an option, people don't care. People don't care about the idea. Sorry, I'm checking spam comments. Yeah. People don't care about the idea that they could be wrong. Because as I told you in an earlier video, most people, when they have an opinion, they are religious with their opinion. And they believe that whatever they believe, or whatever truth they believe, can only be the only truth, and everybody else is a liar, and everybody else should be censored. That's how people are today. They are not into the conversation. They are into, like, this is what I believe, and I want to be around those who believe the same thing as me, and anybody who diverts slightly from that is the enemy. And this is why somebody like this, who's completely, I might be wrong, but looks like he's completely delusional and completely living in his own story, will continue to lie forever, when maybe he should have said, I'm so sorry. I believe that if at a point, listen, he might believe the story, and the story might be true, but all the evidence, listen, soon as I saw the brothers, the Nigerian brothers, I was like, oh, no. Why would you do this? Listen, at that point, I was like, oh, he messed it up for us. Because next time somebody said something and you don't have cameras to prove, people gonna look at you like, I would not go as far as to do a link between those two events, but I'm sure that there are some people in the world who have doubts when it comes to Megan Thee Stallion just because of Jussie Smollett. Some people are like, you people are so ready to do anything for the publicity stunt, the dopamine, the just to be the center of attention, that you would post anything. Like, look, listen, do you know that there are some singers, I only know their name because of the drama around them, and I never heard their music actually. All I hear about them is all the drama they create, and when they are fed up because of the drama they created and they want to cry, instead of just crying in their house or in front of their mirrors like me, or alone, they need to go on Instagram Live, and first they're gonna turn on the TV, the telephone, and then once there's 1,000 or 5,000 people watching, then they're like, yeah, who you care about my family? And you have everybody in the comment, we are with you, go ahead, oh my God, my heart is broken too. And you're like, what the fuck is wrong with all these people? What the fuck is wrong with all these people? Why are you crying for a camera? Why do you believe that? Like, where's pudeur? Where is... So, because everybody lives in a reality show, everybody is making their story a story for the world. And yeah, listen, if he was not an idiot and he pulled his thing right, and instead of hiring two Nigerian guys to do it, that apparently he had something with one of, instead of, or maybe it's drugs, but instead of doing this with somebody that doesn't fit the right role for the accuser, maybe he would have found somebody that's French or Italian, or some guy from Albania that was taking the flight the next day, and make sure that they don't leave here. They come, they look, hire some real, look like, go find some people that, and yeah, wear this, do this, slap me a bit, do this, put a thing around my neck, there's gonna be a camera here, blah 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 blah, do it, and then tell those people to disappear. Go back to Albania with your $10,000 or how much I paid you, and then reap the benefits. But because this whole thing looks ridiculous, like everything from the beginning to the end, it looks like somebody who's doing everything for attention. And sadly, he dragged his whole family there, and now that he's being declared guilty, he's like thinking in his whole thing that he's the new MLK. And he's there, like, he's talking about the 400 years of that. Listen, and he's giving weapons to those who are against us and against the people like him. And I think those people don't realize it. And I think most people have to start understanding the lessons that are here. The lessons that are, don't go chasing all these, like people will do anything to exist nowadays. And it's harder than back in the days. If you remember when I said what I said half an hour ago, I don't know when I started ranting, but years ago, you had like 20 celebrities, 10 singers, and then once you were one of them, you were famous, rich, like your goal was to not be seen. You could not go outside, Michael Jackson style. Like the more rare you were, the more famous you were, and the more the fans would go crazy if they saw you. And I've been through that era, and I remember some people were criticizing me because I wanted to keep a normal life when I became a celebrity, and in France and in Africa. And I wanted to keep going to the KFC on Sundays and chill at the Châtelet. And some people used to criticize me. Yeah, but this guy, I always see him in the KFC. He's not a star. And people would tell me, hey, you have to stop from being seen. And me, I was like, what? And it completely switched. Today, if you want to stay relevant, people have to talk about you all the time. If not, they will tell you all the time, oh, did you stop making music? We don't see you anymore. We don't see your music video. Oh, where are you? And if you don't post for 3 days, people will start thinking that you are sick or you died. Because people, they want something now, and then they want to consume now, and then they want something else just after now. We get 10 or 20 episodes of a new series, and we're gonna watch everything in 2 days. And then we're like, damn, fucking Netflix, there's nothing to watch in there. Or they put billions to create content, but there's so much content, so many movies, so many YouTube videos. There's 400 minutes, 400 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. 400 hours every minute. There's people like me who are live all around the world, billions of hours of live every hour that are just produced by people who are just talking to other people in the chat, and etc. And all this is creating an economy where nobody is winning because the gains are divided by so many people. And then, yeah, some people will just try to create drama, get naked, or do something crazy just to be the center of attention for 15 minutes, because they know that this will trickle down into roles, jobs, streams, views on the YouTube channel, etc., etc. And I know some people like that. I know some people in the Zouk industry, in the French Zouk industry, or in the Kizomba world. They want to be talked about, good or bad, and when people are not talking about them, they go crazy. I know this exact material of person as Jussie. I know one guy, he's the same person in the Zouk industry. And yeah, those people, they will do anything, they will lie, they will just to be seen as victims, when in reality, they are aggressors. And to me, listen, I'm not part of the LGBT, so I cannot speak for them. I'm not a Black American, so I cannot speak for them either. I don't have slave ancestors, so I cannot speak for them as well. But at least as a Black person, that doesn't really, I think my life is okay. But as a Black person, I feel insulted by these type of things. But I know they will happen, because it's not just him. That's him, It's all the Karens, all the people who pretend that have been aggressed by men. Like all these people should also be treated the same way and have the same type of sentence. Maybe it will stop some people from going as crazy as he went, if it is it is what happened. But everything tend to show he was not able to prove, right? And the whole time, listen, I believe that him and Kanye suffer the same disease. There's a kind of a, it's something that I've been saying to people. I've been inside of the spheres of fame. Fame, you don't need to be American famous. You can just be African famous to understand what fame is. You can just be famous in your village to understand what fame is. Fame is a drug. Fame is one of the hardest drugs. Fame, power, money, all that is a combination that eats the brain of a lot of people, way more people than you think. A lot of people became presidents and then they became crazy. Some people are right now turning into monsters in some countries that I will not name, just because they just discovered fame, money, and power. And then you're gonna have somebody that will just destroy his whole career by continue to go in something, but maybe the schizophrenia of somebody might make them believe that they are what they believe they are. Which takes me to the other one. Who believes he's a god? Who believes he's a servant of God? And who does everything that a servant of God would not do? And he's bullying a woman and using the same woman he was defending and taking to a place of being a queen. He's now using black people's trigger and the hate for fame and money and the hate for the Kardashians for a narrative that just because he seems to be a control freak who doesn't have control, and when he doesn't have control, he snaps. I told you about one of my exes. That woman, one day I told her, I'm sorry, but in this specific party, I don't want you to come with me because I feel that it's going to be dangerous. I know that at that time in France, there was a lot of weapons, a lot of people using guns in parties and stuff. I was like, listen, I'm not sure about that one. So I'll be with you till 1 a.m. I'll go there. By 3 a.m., I'll be back to your house. And she said, okay. But frustration used to trigger something in her. And then she just started yelling out of nowhere. And I was like, what's going on with her? And the bipolar people, I experienced them, a few of them. And once they get triggered, they just go into another personality. And they will believe their own story. They will believe their own reason for whatever they're doing. They will believe it because they just snapped. And you can have a normal conversation with them about a subject that they are talking to you about. And then you will give them an opinion. And if this opinion doesn't go where they want to go, snap, and then they go crazy.